I don't know when it starts. What's
There
up,
we
guys?
go.
Damn it! Damn it, I missed it again.
Every week.
What's up, guys? And welcome to this episode of Tuesday Night Talks. I'm one of your hosts, Mikhail, and
Hannah
is back. And I'm really excited about that. Don't ever leave me again.
I'm sorry, I was stuck in Minneapolis airport for 14 hours.
That was crazy. So you spent the night at an airport.
Yeah, in a really cold airport.
Did you say somebody got you a blanket, or did you end up having to
I bought a Puma pullover, but they didn't open until 7. And so thankfully they were half off, so they were cheaper. But yeah, I was just curled up on a couch by the moving walkway.
That's crazy. So, and that was because of all the hurricanes and everything going on in
Actually,
DC,
no.
right?
It was our plane got delayed coming into Philly, so I was leaving Philly. And then we got delayed because of a weather front for everything going west. So I think it was a different weather system than the southern hurricanes.
Crazy.
Yeah. Glad to be back.
I'm glad to have you back as well. For those of you who may not know, every Tuesday night we do a live Facebook broadcast to bring you all the latest in social and digital marketing. Of course, we do like to open it up for a live Q&A, so we're going to invite one of you lucky guys, and or you can leave your comments below and we'll be sure to answer them live. Today we have a great show in store for you. We're going to be going over a new Facebook ad format because, you know, they don't change often enough.
No, of course not.
Mm-hmm.
No, they keep us on our toes.
We're also going to give you a couple tips on how to monitor your competitors' digital marketing campaigns. And we're also going to go over Hannah's highlights, which is the Apple X.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't want to forget, Google's also making some updates too, trying to keep up and be a little bit more social. All of the information today has been brought to you by socialmediatoday.com. So we are spinning the content, but also it's crazy going through it all the time because like we'll read these headlines and then like go into it and be like, oh, we were kind of doing this already, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty natural to refine it as you go along, and then you'll read something like, oh.
What's really interesting is like most of the time I don't even know what's new because I meant to do that this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what's new because it just happens like in the middle of the day type of thing.
Yep.
So it's just like, oh, this is now. So I don't even realize it. So I don't know.
And we're also on it a lot that we'll notice differences pretty quickly.
Man, we were on it for like a lot right now. My brain hurts. Anyway, thank you guys so much for checking in every Tuesday. But let's get started with Facebook ads and their new lifestyle template. This one's actually pretty cool, I think. Basically, what's happening right now is Facebook is rolling out a new ad feature which will allow retailers, I think is what's going to work out really well for retailers, to tag one of the products in a photo, and then they'll be able to click out and actually purchase that product. So obviously for companies that have like clothing companies or home goods, what was one of the examples that came up?
I think the home goods is what we were looking at earlier.
Are they called home goods?
I mean, there's
like
a store called Home
blankets?
Goods.
Blankets? Is that home goods?
Literally
Blankets?
can't even think of the words.
Yeah, I know. I can't
Home
know.
goods types of items.
Yeah, but anyways, it's really good for retailers because you'll be able to click out and actually purchase some of the products just from that Facebook ad, and it makes the user experience less abrasive, which is really cool, and will hopefully drive up the revenue for advertisers. Now, you actually have some experience with this at one of the last companies that you worked at Warby, right?
Well, actually, I didn't directly interact with it when I was there, but when I saw it was probably like a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it come up where they were releasing new frames, and so on Instagram, not Facebook, but Instagram, they had just a little dot over the frames, and you would click it and it would take you to it. And so I thought it was really good way to lower the barrier to go to the website.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's like, oh, do you really want to go to the link in the bio?
And that was
there's
just
no native links and descriptions anymore.
And that was on just organic posts. It wasn't on an
I
ad.
believe so. I saw some paid, but then Warby was just in the feed because I follow their account and interact with them, or like photos or whatever. But now it's on Facebook, which it makes sense that it's on Instagram. They're going to implement it on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. So this is a rollout, and I do have a question for you, actually. Do you shop online at all?
Yes.
Wait, why do you get to be so tall? Okay. So do you shop online?
I do. I do most of my shopping online.
Have you ever clicked out from a Facebook ad to shop online?
Not normally, because I don't want the companies that I'm buying from to have to pay for it. If I like the company, I'm like, whatever. I'll Google. Also, I usually don't shop via Facebook ads.
Sure.
I think I've done that maybe once. Hubble. I did click on a Facebook ad for Hubble.
What's Hubble?
They are a mail order, direct-to-consumer contact service, which I am trying this month, and we'll report back.
Yeah. All right, cool. Sweet. So that is rolling out through Facebook. It's not going to be available to everybody yet, but once we're able to test it, we'll definitely give you a little bit of a strategy on how to do that ourselves. Jeremy, Matt, thank you so much for checking in. For those of you just checking in, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do a Facebook Live Q&A. So we will be inviting, actually, as a matter of fact, I want to invite one of these guys right now and see how that works out. Jeremy, it's funny actually, Jeremy Miller, if he does end up accepting the invitation.
Let me do it again.
Yeah, if he does accept, oh, I can't. It just says can't. It doesn't even give you a long thing. But anyways, maybe we'll get that in. We'll get that in like in the middle of the stuff too, so that we don't have to wait till the end, because I'd be really curious on how that actually works. It just says can't. It's so awesome. Or is that like, yeah, no.
I think it says something else, but the background's really light.
That's really tough. Anyways, so let's move on to how to monitor your competitors' digital marketing campaigns. So there are actually a lot of different tools that you can use, but what's nice about these is that they're actually free. I was, a long time ago, and I haven't recently, I was actually using Google Alerts, which was a lot of fun. And Google Alerts is a great way to monitor your competitors as well. So you can, on Google Alerts, just search for Google Alerts and you can sign up for something like this. You can be emailed every day on specific industry keywords. And as a keyword, you can put in one of your competitors' names as well. Now, for local businesses, this might not do a lot for you, but for the businesses that are nationally distributed, that type of thing, you can put in you can find out what people are writing about your competitors, and even if there's any negative reviews or anything like that. So I think something like that is really really powerful. I mean, what would you have to say about, have you used Google Alerts yourself?
I have. I used to a little while ago. I'm not actively using it now, but Facebook has kind of a version of that. Mm-hmm. When you are a manager of a page, you can add pages to watch. Mm-hmm. And so I think you can add up to 5. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good way to kind of see what your competitors are doing, how their stats are looking. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally sure if they enjoyed having some of their stats around, but I think it's a good way to kind of see what they're doing and not necessarily to copy, but to evolve off of, oh, well, they're trying this. Well, it's not really working for them, so let's pivot and do this. Yeah,
absolutely. Facebook Insights is actually really important. And I've noticed that in the past when you were scheduling out content too,
yes.
Yeah, you were actually using Google Alerts and Facebook Alerts and Facebook Insights to do some of your scheduling. Can you walk us through some of the strategy behind that?
Yeah, so this comes off of all the statistics that you see about the best times to post on all the different social media websites. And so when you go into your Facebook page manager, you go to Insights, and then it's Posts, I think, is on the side, and it shows you the most active times for each day. Mm-hmm. And then a week trend. And so that is really valuable because I was talking to a friend who was managing a band's page where their most active times was midnight, 1 a.m. because they would post post pictures after a show, people would engage with it. So 1 p.m. isn't as active for them.
Right.
But for the client that I was doing it with in the past, it was generally like 10 a.m. and I think 3 p.m., which is kind of when 3 p.m. is when people start going on their phones at work a little bit more.
You used it for scheduling quite a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would. So I get real gnarly with stuff sometimes. I have this weird competitive thing with me, and if I were to do that, I'd see the type of content that my competitors were posting, right? So if it was more videos or more food pictures, whatever the case may be, and then I would just try to do that, but then 100 times better. And then additionally, I would go into my competitors' competitors' comments or anything like that and try to siphon their customers and be like, oh, you think
you're ruthless.
I have a weird thing about that. I mean, but it's something to do. It's like, dude, it's business. Like, just go,
it works.
Go and, what are you going to do? You wouldn't give all of your customers away to your competitors or anything like that. And but they're doing it to you, so just do it back, Nobody hates that. Anyways, the next tool that you can use that is not absolutely free, but at least for social listening, is Hootsuite.
Yes.
Now, Hootsuite is actually something that I don't recommend ever for posting or anything like that, but I have used it in the past for Twitter listening. I haven't really used it for Facebook listening. Do you use Hootsuite for anything? That's a really rhetorical question because I know exactly what she uses for all of her social stuff, for the most part.
So I have used Hootsuite in the past. I think, again, it's really good for social listening because you can have the different panes. So I've used it with both in the music industry with artists and then also with a radio station that I was working at. And I think that was really valuable, especially if you start doing Twitter chats. But I tend to like Buffer a little bit more. I actually...
Can you listen to other channels on Buffer?
You can.
Cool.
They came out with it a little bit after Hootsuite. Buffer's a newer company, so they were slowly rolling out features.
Yeah. What would you say is the importance of listening to what your potential customers are saying about your competitors?
I think it's especially important when you're developing a product because you can hear you can see what your potential customers are complaining about with your other client, and you can also hear what they're complaining about for your product. Because if you go by the the lean startup method of your MVP product, then it's not going to be very good. You just want to release it and see what people say. So the social listening is really important because they're not always going to tag you.
Right.
If it's really ranty and they don't quite want you to see it, but they want to share their opinions, they're not going to tag you, but you can still find it.
And on that note too, it's like Google Alerts, your Facebook Insights, Hootsuite, Buffer. Yeah, that's cool to monitor your competitors, but it's also just as important to monitor what people are saying about your brand as well. So that's also something I'm really good at, is being super narcissistic and seeing what people are saying about me. Kind of. But anyways, it's good to see what people are saying about your brand. You want to be able to connect with your community and build one out. So, respond back to comments, reviews, anything like that might be going on your social pages, especially on Instagram, especially on Facebook, but really anywhere. So it's good to keep a pulse on all that. For those of you guys that are just checking in, every Tuesday night we do a Facebook Live session to answer any of your social and digital marketing questions. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'm going to try and add one more person here and see if this function is going to work for us. Hey, Jerry, if you're watching, we can have you on the broadcast and maybe answer some of your questions with the Facebook Live. We got to figure out a strategy to do this more effectively because honestly, I think it's going to be super powerful. But it's just hard to get people on there all the time.
Well, it's also, the technology is a little glitchy.
Yeah, I guess.
Try to invite multiple people and it just can't. So,
yeah, I know.
Facebook, get your act together.
Yes, Facebook, get your act together. Anthony, thank you for sharing the video. And that's another thing, too. If you guys do find it valuable, we would love it if you tag somebody who could potentially use the information that we're going over. While we're waiting to see if Jerry's going to join us today, why don't we go on to Hannah's highlights?
Yes.
Right? And then we can get to the Google search later. So this is a little jumbled. But Hannah's highlights, as you guys know, iTunes did all of their... Apple did all their announcements today, as they usually do in September. What were some of your takeaways from that?
For once, I actually watched the entire thing live in kind of like the background as I was working, and I think first of all, it was held in the Steve Jobs Theater, so they had like this it was actually really emotional. I was kind of like, I wasn't expecting to get the heartstrings pulled, but it was really good. Just kind of, it had an audio clip of Steve Jobs talking about the world and about how we need to come together and things like that, which is really timely with all the world events happening. And then they kind of got right to it, and so they talked about, every line of products, watch, TV, ended with the iPhone.
So I noticed that they skipped the iPhone 9.
They did.
Altogether.
I have no idea why. Do you guys know why? Tell us why.
Yeah.
I know that they did the 10X or the iPhone 10 because it's the 10th anniversary.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We really appreciate it. But is it the 10th anniversary? Has it already been 10 years? Is that why they just skipped 9?
I think so. They figured, oh well, let's do the 10 because the iPhone X.
That just okay. Good. So, okay, would you say that this is a marketing? Is this a marketing like a great move for their marketing campaign, or kind of a weird?
Regardless of whatever anyone says, Apple's still going to win. They're such a giant that they can do basically whatever they want, and I think marketing-wise, it's going to work really well.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about it now, so
exactly. Once they get all of the questions answered about why is there no iPhone 9, or once people stop worrying about it and just go on with their normal lives, and Mikhail already wants an iPhone 10, even though it's going to be $1,000.
So is this one.
That wasn't what?
Yeah, this one was $1,000 when it came out. Yeah.
I always go for the older model because.
All right, let's see if Travis wants to join us today. That would be really exciting. It says I can't again, so this is a lot of fun.
Rude.
Anyways, all right, so that's you
wait,
said that you wanted something about the watch.
Yes. What was it? Well, I wear a Garmin because I'm a runner, but now the more that Apple Watch has been kind of increasing their activity, I think I want an Apple Watch. I want a Series 3.
All right, okay.
They also did a really cool thing did a commercial with supposedly real people. There's a professional runner involved. And so I saw on her Instagram that she was at the Apple event. I was like, why do they have a professional runner at the Apple event? Huh. She was in the commercial.
That's pretty exciting.
They had a really good Apple Watch commercial on there. I'm gonna try again.
I'm gonna keep trying until we get somebody on today. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully Anthony can join us. That'd be a lot of fun. In the meantime, while that's inviting
the cellular is what a lot of people are excited about.
So can I talk from my...
Yeah, so they did a call, like a live demo, supposedly live demo with a woman paddling. It was like one of their product people paddling on a stand-up paddleboard with the iPhone or Series 3 watch.
And talking
and so they called.
Was it live?
I'm guessing it was live. They also did a live demo where the face recognition unlock didn't work.
Cool. Oh, they did. That's awesome.
It didn't work. I
love the fails. I love the fails.
I feel like they should know what happens with the live demo.
All right, Sam, thank you so much for checking in. Travis, thank you for checking in as well. Anthony, if you pick up your phone, that'd be fun. I wouldn't mind having you on here as well. We'll figure out the broadcasting thing eventually. Anyways, there was one more thing for small businesses, and I think that this is really exciting too. A lot of the people that we end up talking to, the excuse for not doing any sort of digital marketing is, I didn't grow up with this stuff, I just don't get it, I'm not an internet guy. By the way, real quick, if you're a business guy or claim to be a business guy, you have to be an internet guy. Can we just settle that right now? And if you're not, then you're not a very good business guy. Anyways, Google search is going to be helping you out. If you do have a local business like a restaurant or a store of any kind, you can actually edit your business information right from Google search as opposed to going through the trenches that is Google+. Let's name all the reasons why Google+.
I just saw an article today about the expensive mistake that Google+ was.
Is. Did you read it?
I didn't actually read it, I just saw the headline.
Yeah, the expensive mistake was Google+.
Exactly.
The whole thing. It was crazy, dude. So, anyways, yeah, that's actually really exciting. Obviously, if you have multiple businesses attached to your Google page, or your Google account, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to use. But that's a really nice way to make the experience a little bit more seamless, and hopefully people are going to be a little yes.
Agreed.
It definitely was a waste of time. Hopefully Google, on the other hand, it's an attempt for Google to be a little bit more social and a little bit more user friendly.
Although, for the record, people are still leaving Google reviews.
Yeah.
But that's connected to Google+.
Yeah, but they make it easier because you can just leave a thing right there if you're logged in.
Yeah, but I guess that's one thing that they... Yeah. But no one's actually using the social. When someone sends me a request to join their circle, I didn't know
I didn't know people still tried to do that.
I got one recently. It's crazy.
I wonder if can't invite this guest. Man, what a... I don't think I can invite Jabril either because I think you have to have an iPhone, but it'd be a lot of fun if Jabril could come on because we have a great podcast that's going to be coming out. While that's inviting again, and hopefully this will actually work, I'm determined. I might stay live until we can get one person on there, but I do want to talk about the importance of your Google search results, and this is anything from a personal brand to a business brand, right? One of the great things about using social media is that it populates on Google searches in the search results. So if somebody were to search, let's just say Hannah Moyer, right? The things that are going to come up are your LinkedIn pages, your LinkedIn page, your tweets are going to come up from a mobile device, and I think from desktop as well.
Yeah.
Your latest tweets come up. Your Facebook page is going to come up, your Instagram page is going to come up, and your website's going to come up, right? So this is great for any of our friends that might have iffy college photos up.
I never have iffy photos.
Anything like that. So that's kind of exciting because because when people are searching for somebody to work with, whether it's to hire you or something like that, you want your best information
Dude,
to come
lock
up.
it down, delete it.
Yes, and let's be honest, everybody is actually searching for your name the second that they hear about it.
Oh, definitely. If I hear, anyone on a podcast or anyone, basically anyone I hear about, and I go on and they claim to be a marketer and they either don't have a profile picture on their LinkedIn, has happened, or they have a really bad Twitter profile. It just kind of depends. I'm like, I don't know if I want to work with you.
I have a question that you might hate me for.
What?
Before you go out on a date, do you Google search? Do you Google search?
I have found some people pretty creepily, I will admit.
Yeah.
So I try not to, but some people have had pretty locked down Instagram accounts, and I'm frankly a little annoyed because they could find me.
Yeah, that is pretty annoying.
Because I have mine not public for my job. But
right.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, for sure. I know that. Which, by the way, is really smart to do. Can we just agree that?
See, it's making sure that they're legit.
Yeah.
Because you never know if, things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I text my friends a picture of the guy, where we're going, on all of his details, and what time, whenever I go and meet someone.
Also, if your parents are watching,
yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Moyer, I want you to know that we are permanently sharing each other's location.
We are.
So if I do know that she's going on a date or something like that, I'd be sure to check it.
Or even if I don't tell him because I don't want teasing.
Or anything like that, I do check. In fact, one time, you drove home late. We went out for the night. You drove home late, and I didn't hear from you. And with all my friends, it's this thing where it's like, oh, text me when you get home. It's like, okay, cool. I didn't say that, and I didn't hear from you the next day, so I looked up your location, and luckily it was at your apartment. And that was because I really care. So
I appreciate that.
Yes. So
I'm sorry I didn't text you back right away.
No, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. Cool. So sorry that the broadcast invites didn't work. I really wish that they would, but it's quite all right.
I think Jabril, it's connection failed, so I think it worked.
Yeah.
But not totally.
I'm surprised.
We're on the right track.
Before it could only be on an iPhone. I know that Jabril doesn't have an iPhone because his texts come up in green, which is quite all right. But I did want to leave you guys with this. I was recently talking to Nelson, and a conversation came up, and Nelson's our graphic designer and also our does a lot of the micro videos for social with us. And we were talking about how somebody once told me that, hey, look, aren't you worried about the fact that you might not have a job when you're done with whatever you're doing with building businesses? That was kind of a weird question for me because for one, I have a job. But for two, it's well, the whole thing in my head is well, I'm building a business so that I will forever have a job, right? So
yes.
And for me, I have found out over the course of the last 3 or 4 years that, look, whether it's building businesses or whatever the heck I end up doing or partnering up with companies like Replay Collective, that was a name drop, that there's always going to be those opportunities. And that's a lot of the reason why I focus on the personal brand and figuring out all this stuff.
And also, you can always reinvent yourself. You can always easily... You can move on from something. You can evolve.
Right.
There's, who knows how much AI will take from different industries, and so.
But my point is this: if you got me on my Android, but you didn't check in, if you do have a backup plan, your chances of failing at whatever you're trying to work at is exponentially higher. And because you are thinking about, oh, if this doesn't work out, at least I have this.
I think there's a difference between the future and a backup plan.
Sure. But I don't know. It's just one of those things.
It's true.
If your mindset at all is, I don't know if that was agreeing with my statement or contradicting it.
It was mostly agreeing. So you can say, oh, well, if this doesn't work, then I'll do this. But it's oh, well, at some point, maybe my job will become obsolete because of technology. Well, I know I'll figure something out.
Sure.
So it's not giving yourself a backup plan now. It's just being aware of what could happen in the future.
Sure. Yeah.
We agree to disagree.
But here's the thing. Is you have to keep your eyes forward, period.
Yes.
You always have to keep your eyes forward, and you can't look to the left or right if you do want to get something accomplished. The more the more you look left and right, the more you're giving yourself a better chance of getting distracted. And definitely don't ever look back, because if you do look back, then you're not giving yourself the opportunity to really look at the future in a positive light. And that's the mentality that has to change. If we're wondering about, hey, what if this goes wrong? Well, fuck, that just, I can say fuck on this. Is my own
yours.
thing.
It's fine.
If you,
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
yeah, sorry. If you're worried about, but here's the thing: if you're always worried about what's going to go wrong, it limits you from it slows you down from just doing the things that feel right.
It makes you create a safety net.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Not having one is the best thing that you can do. Like moving across the country.
Oh, there's a big safety net here.
Yeah.
His name's Mikhail.
Although there's something like on the same vein of that, the head of the team that I interned with in the music industry said, which is a industry where like you have to enjoy it in order to last because it's a very hard industry to get into and not get burned out. All that being said, he always told us that if you couldn't picture yourself doing anything else, this is where you need to be.
Sure.
And there's a lot of truth to that. I can't picture myself doing anything else and not working with these guys. And so that's how I know, okay, this was the right decision to move out here and kind of questionable job circumstances. It's great.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that's checking in. If you do have any questions outside of this, please feel free to comment below and we'll be sure to answer. If we don't talk to you, though, feel free to check in next week, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, same place, same bat channel. My name is Mikhail.
And I'm Hannah.